What's up, everyone? My name is Jonathan Sigworth, and I'm going to be interviewing my friend Joey Paladino about his new book called Until the Wheels Fall Off, about his story, living with spinal cord injury, and creating a successful medical business as a result. All sales from his book are going to charity, and so I encourage you guys to take a look, purchase a copy. If you can't afford a copy, just reach out to my email address below in the description, and we'll get in touch and get a copy out to you. All sales from the book are going to the United Spinal chapter of Connecticut, which supports people with spinal cord injury and helps raise awareness in the state. So please take a look at the book on Amazon. It's coming out to Audible soon. Thanks so much and enjoy the interview. So Joe, just introduce yourself, for people who don't know you. I mean, you and I go way back from when I first got injured. We were on the wheelchair rugby team, the Jammers, together, and that meant a lot to me. And it was only really through interviewing you for More Than Walking that I first learned about your real backstory. Could you summarize that briefly for people who don't know you?
Sure. I am 64 years old. I got hurt in 1973 when I just turned 16 on my birthday. I was in a car accident. We were going to a party. I was involved with a gang, which I joined. And that's how I got hurt.
And I know the transformation after that, Joey Paladino, everyone, has gone on to start his own medical supply business, which he ran successfully for many years and has since sold and is now Florida, Connecticut retiree.
Yes, I'm living the good life, even though I always did live the good life. But to be honest, sometimes it gets a little boring just kind of hanging out, but we'll find things to do.
And one of the first things you found to do was to write a book. So I wanted to ask, a lot of people write books. A lot of people with spinal cord injuries write books. Not to say that we can't have more books, but why did you choose to write your book? And what was the unique perspective that you were hoping to share that perhaps you hadn't seen out there in other people's stories?
Well, to be honest, I had no intention of writing a book. My wife is an author and she writes books. And about 3 years back, she says, I think it'd be good if we write your story. And I said, for what? And then the more we talked about it, it's all about aspiring some young person who just got spinal cord injury. And the book was only meant for showing other spinal cord injured people that if an 8th grade ex-gang member could be successful, then I had to write the book to give, not to say they don't, a lot of newly injured spinal cord people don't have hope, but I became the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company. If I could do it, you could do it. So that was the reason why we wrote the book.
Yeah, and it's an incredible story. And how did you get to building that multi-million-dollar company? What were in your mind the pivotal steps or supports?
Sure.
That you found or that you took to get there?
Well, let me back up a little bit, really quick. When I got injured at 16, I didn't do anything. I hung around with the gang for a few years. I just want to tell my backstory quick. I got married to my first wife at 21. I opened up 2 liquor stores. So I always had a mind of doing business. We did the liquor stores, then we sold them. And then I worked as an independent counselor for 15 years, getting people out of nursing homes. We got that whole follow the money grant. That was us that did that back in the 90s. And then I I started New Britain Medical. And I think the only reason why New Britain Medical was so successful is there's so many other medical supply catheter. We were just a catheter company, but we did other things. We sold, if one of my guys or ladies needed a cushion, we would do a roll cushion. We would do wheelchairs, even though we didn't want to do that. But we focused around the spinal cord community. And I tell you, if it wasn't for the spinal cord community blessing me with, because I would call people like you and people on the rugby team and the basketball team, and I would say, hey, I just opened up New Britain Medical. Come on over. We need support. And they were like, I'm happy with my company. And I was like, they're a walking company, able body, not to say anything bad about it, but you have to support a disability company. And they got it. And we had 5 patients, then we had 20, and then we had 400, then we had 2,000 at the end of the day. And I think it was all about service. I told my employees that worked there, I would fire any one of you if you ever denied any of my people any catheters because their insurance got messed up, they owed a copay. I didn't care about any of that. Of course, I wanted to make money, but that wasn't the thing. The thing was to give spinal cord people like myself catheters with a decent company and not to give them any BS.
I remember very distinctly when I started getting my catheters at Apex Pharmacy, because, if I ran out, it was right down from my house. I could, just drive there. My parents could drive there 5 minutes and get some replacements. And you called me and you said, John, where are you getting your catheters? I was like, oh, Apex. He's like, what are you doing? You called me.
I remember that.
And I never regretted it because, it's so true. Whenever, you guys were just so flexible. I never felt like there was, I always paid my bills. Sometimes they were late, but it was great the way you guys ran.
The way we looked at it was the more patients we had and the more money we were making, the patients that did call us that had no insurance, we would float them catheters for a month or up to a year until they got insurance. Mm-hmm. Now, the big corporation companies, and they're really big, and I won't mention no names, they'll stop sending you catheters in 2 months if you owe them money. And we didn't do that. So I think that's the reason why we went from 5 people to 2,000 and, Facebook. And then we were selling catheters all over the United States.
Now, is that ethos, was that carried? Did you run the alcohol store the same way?
No, the alcohol store, I was 22 years old. I knew nothing about business. And we did the best we could. And, that's a whole different business. I'm not the same person as 21, 22, 25. I started my business around 54.
Well, that's incredible. And I really thank you for the service that you really provided in that. So with the book, Till the Wheels Fall Off, how did you come up with that title, and what does that kind of opening phrase mean to you?
Well, I don't know if you're younger than me, but we always had the saying, we'll drive a car or whatever till the wheels fall off. We're just going to keep going and going. You're going to have to push us. So we took that, I'm going to live my life until my wheels fall off. And doesn't mean my wheels fall off my wheelchair. As long as I could go. I've been in the chair for 48 years. I'm a C7 quad. And I'm going to fish on my dock. I'm going to go on my boat. And I'm going to do it until the wheels fall off. And that means until I can't do it anymore.
What are you looking forward to after this book, gets out there? What's kind of the next project that you have percolating?
Well, I want to make it clear that this book, every penny of it, I won't make one nickel. And the book cost me around $10,000 to make. Everything goes to the Spinal Cord Association. I picked Connecticut Gaylord Rehab because they do such great work. My next adventure, I have no idea. If I could still help somebody, what I'm doing now is what I find out there is people are buying these wheelchair vans and they're selling them so crazy, they're taking advantage of the whole disability community. And if I could find some that really low price and are really good, Me and my buddy Kyle from North Carolina, we're kind of doing that. If we could just do a little work and help somebody out and give them a nice van to get around with. So that's kind of my next venture. But other than that, I just want to go on my boat and fish. That's all.
Just for full disclosure, Joe, you're on the board of More Than Walking, and I've really appreciated your
Yes.
input on that, especially as a fellow entrepreneur. Your mentoring and your advice and your wisdom from all those years of experience really mean a lot and have meant a lot to me.
Thank you.
Seeing you do that to others, you want to sit on some other startup boards?
Yeah, I mean, there's always an opportunity for me to do that, and I'll take everything that comes along, and I will, think about it. But it's always it's a possibility.
And so, about the book, what do you hope people really take away from reading it?
My only hope is for a young spinal guy, a young spinal woman who's 16, who's 18, who's 25, and just became a spinal cord injured person, and they're laying in that rehab and saying, "What am I going to do with my life?" Read the book and say, if you bust your ass and you dedicate it, you could do anything you want to do in life. Of course, there's limits. It's going to be hard, but like I said, if I could do it, hopefully you could do it. And if you need to call me and talk to me about any questions, I'm always open for that. But it's just to enhance somebody else's life, and I want to make it clear, I'm a Jesus guy, and some people, whatever, but I didn't do this on my own. There's no way. I ain't that smart. And I know there's a lot of people who are smart and don't believe in God and they're successful. But for me, I believe he guided me through all this crazy stuff through life and put me here. And I have to give it to Jesus. So that's one of my main blessings.
Yeah. And, I think it's so important to acknowledge and recognize it's not just about, how much willpower you have. Sometimes, oftentimes, maybe most of the time, there's a huge element of surrender, of
yes,
allowing other things to push us in the right direction and give up a certain level of control.
Yes.
Writing a book, I imagine, I've never done it before, but I've heard can be very challenging because you have to ask yourself, okay, how much am I going to write about? How am I going to write about my most vulnerable moments or my most difficult moments? What were the hardest parts for you to write about, and how did you handle that?
Well, yeah, the book's 140 pages, and it could have been easily 400 pages. I laid out my gang life. I laid out some personal problems, my mom and dad, my first wife who passed. So writing the book kind of brought back a lot of bad stuff, but it also brought good stuff. It took 2 years to write. So, just going back and even reading the book, there's a lot of good stuff, but there's a lot of stuff saying, wow, I did that. And how did I make it from that? And so I'm glad I did it, but it's tough to write a book sometimes because it brings back some bad stuff that we all did when we were young. And I think the bad stuff that I was involved with kind of got me to where I am. So It is what it is.
Do you feel like that you have, changed as a person through the process of those 2 years of going through, wading through those memories? Do you feel like you've come away from this experience with something new?
Yes. I in the last 2 years, man, I treasure life every day. Life is so short, and we wrote it during COVID and all these problems we're having. And I just tell everyone, man, you got to live your life every day. You got to get in let that sun hit your face and live. You only go around one time. Of course, for me, I believe I'll go to heaven, but you still got to live in this life. So make it the best you can. So yeah, it did make me more mature and made me more in tune with life and get closer to God. Now listen, I'm not the perfect one. Don't look at me like I'm this perfect Christian. I'm not. I still lose my temper. I can still get aggravated. It's not easy being a quad after 48 years. My shoulders hurt, transferring this. So I have my days, but I still look at the positive days.
It's okay. We're patient with you, Joey.
Okay. I mean, I lived through the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, all in a chair. It's been tough, but it's been a good life. And I want to say this, that I think if I didn't get into a car accident, I think my life would have been it would have been bad, because 95% of my gang members are either not here, they had a bad life. And I think I might have fell in that life. So I'm not saying Jesus put me in a chair, but hey, maybe this was all done for to have a better life. And I know I impacted hopefully a few people along the way.
Well, I am, not to be selfish, but I'm glad I met you when I was in the chair. And, again, being on the rugby team together and your continual friendship over the years has really meant a lot to me, Joey. So
I appreciate that. And I know you used to get mad because you were never as fast as me.
That's true.
And I had 30 years on you, but I think you could probably beat me now.
Well, Joe, those are all my questions. Is there anything else that I didn't ask about that you want to share with people?
I just want to kind of show everybody the title of the book. And if you are interested in the book, you could get it in Amazon, or if you don't have any money or you're tight, just give John a call or me a call, and I'll send you a free copy.
Message in the comments below if you're interested, and we'll reach out to you and get that free copy to you.
Yes.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for taking the past 2 years to write your life down.
Okay.
Under 200 pages.
Yes.
We look forward to the Audible version.
Matter of fact, as we speak, somebody's doing that for free.
Thank God.
Yep.
All right, Joe. Well, thanks again, and I look forward to sharing more about this book, and let's see how it goes.
Thank you, John. See you soon.